Today, Wendy's Hot Talk panel breaks down the week's top stories, including Kanye doing his community service at a fashion school. Plus, is Kim Kardashian worried that her sister is stealing her spotlight? Wendy's got the details. And all the latest juicy hot topics.
But up next, our Hot Talk panel is coming out here, and we're going to break down the week's hottest stories, so don't miss it. To discuss this week's hottest topics in the latest edition of Hot Talk. Joining me are the host of HLN, a show, the Jane Velez Mitchell Show, Jane Velez Mitchell. Hey! Is your show called Jane Velez Mitchell?
Yes, it is, and I love that.
Perfect, okay. Plus, we've got relationship experts. Say hello to our friend, Siggy Flicker.
Siggy.
And he's the anchor of the CNN newsroom. Give it up for Don Lemon. Okay. I'm glad you're all here. Let's talk. All right, it was revealed this week that Kanye West begun his court-ordered community service for allegedly attacking the paparazzi outside of LAX. You remember that story? Yeah. So some people are upset that his community service is entailing teaching a class in fashion at a college out in LA. Jane, do you think that this should count as
Let me tell
community service?
What I would like to see is him by the side of the road picking up some really gross stuff that you can't identify. Because, you know what? If you don't want to be photographed, don't become rich and famous. This is a travesty. Instead, he punishes these students by lecturing them about what a creative genius he is.
That's right. We all know that Kanye's passionate about two things: Kim and fashion. By slapping him on the wrist and saying, you have to go in front of college students and talk about what you're passionate about, what are we doing?
That shouldn't be a slap on the wrist. That's something you do voluntarily.
Correct.
You go speak to students. Wendy, I've seen you speak to students. That's what you do voluntarily. That is not a punishment. He should be in an oranger jumpsuit than your dress on the side of the road.
No, I so disagree with you. And yes, I am sticking up for the madman because I try to be fair here when I do the show, okay? I think that this is great community service for Kanye. And if the judge didn't think so, then the judge wouldn't have signed him. I'm going to tell you why, Jane. I'm going to tell you why.
Because he'll do more.
He's not a murderer. He did not beat up Rihanna. He simply attacked the paparazzi who, by the way, I am sure the paparazzi know that they can provoke this madman and make him do stuff. I bet you paparazzi was all up in his...
That's not an excuse for him doing it. He should know better. We talked about Solange being in the public eye. He's in the public eye. He should know better that people are going to taunt him. He should be doing this anyways. Listen, I think he will help more in this situation because people will see him. The kids will see him and say, I can aspire to that.
That's great community service.
That's voluntary, Wendy. Community service is not that.
When you think about community service, you think volunteering, big brothers and sisters, helping out a grandparent.
Trash on the side of the road.
Let me say you don't think of Kanye trying to sell his $300 sneakers that most kids can't afford.
Are human beings too. He smacked this guy. There's the photograph, and he's been involved in other alleged scuffles with these photographers. Now, this is the downside of fame. Let me tell you something. There are plenty of superstars, and I'm sure you are a superstar who's gone through LAX without socking any photographer.
No, because I self-control, but I think that I think that he was provoked. Look at me sticking up for Kanye. It's not going to happen often, so savor this moment. I think that they know that they can provoke him, and I also feel as though as long as he's not drawing a check from that university, and that perhaps he's got to leave a $10,000 donation in the bursar's office.
Is supposed to hurt. You're supposed to learn a lesson
well,
from it.
Look,
that does not hurt.
Who
He's
has
not
time
learning
to
any
troll
lesson.
around on a campus? You know, depending on how many hours he has to do this for free, get up there.
240 hours of community service.
But it's 3-hour courses.
Yeah.
Who has 3 hours a day to be teaching?
Well, let me say this.
For free.
What exactly is he teaching? I mean, he's famous for claiming to have invented leather jogging pants, which is the stupidest idea.
They're so ugly, too. They're so ugly.
Correct.
Okay, let's move along to the next story. We could fight on Facebook later. Okay, so music legend Sting has shocked people this week when he announced that he wouldn't be leaving his children much of his $300 million when he dies. This is what Sting says, and then Don, I'm coming at you.
All right.
All right. I told them we're spending it, meaning he and his wife. We're spending it. I certainly don't want to leave them trust funds that will be albatross around their necks.
Albatross.
Albatross around their necks.
Sting is a jerk. I love Sting and his wife. I've met them. I've interviewed him. He has $300 million. You bring a child into the world, you have a responsibility to take care of them.
That doesn't
and
mean
also
financially.
It does mean financially. Yes, it
We don't
does.
need any more kids that have been born into the Lucky Sperm Club with entitlement issues, walking around.
You're hating. You're
does anybody
hating.
really,
You're
but
hating.
does anybody really think that Sting's kids are not being taken care of?
Yeah,
Listen,
but
they are.
That
but
money belongs to them after Sting is gone.
no.
Anyone who
Listen to
says
me.
it doesn't,
What
you're
life
hating.
lessons
Sting
can you
came from
learn
humble beginnings. He
from
should know
inheriting
how it
that
is
amount
to
of
be
money?
poor.
Listen, Don, I've known some trust fund babies, and it's a golden handcuff,
Not all of them
and a
that
lot
way.
of them sit
Jane,
around
thank you.
waiting for the money to come in,
Then
and
give
they
me-
end up on
then give
drug
me
and alcohol
both of
problems.
those golden handcuffs and two albatrosses.
Don, they don't learn life lessons because anytime they get in a
That's not
fight,
true.
I don't need to deal with this. I got a trust fund coming in anyway.
Money doesn't
Real
erase your
life
brain.
lessons happen when you're out of your comfort zone, and what he's
Wendy,
doing, he's not
let
making
me
his
say
kids
that
comfortable.
He's giving a lot of his money to charity. He's trying to save
Charity
the
begins at home, though.
Thank you
Not
very
for
much.
nothing.
Well, I
Sting
don't know.
has at least 8 properties, millions of dollars in
Yes.
properties. He can give
And
those
it's
kids
not
a home.
It's not just him and Trudy that are enjoying those properties.
You know
his
what?
He's
kids, and he
being
said,
selfish.
he
He's
says
being
he's so proud
selfish.
of
He
his
has a
kids.
responsibility
Wait,
to the children to take care of them in
His
life
kids
and in
didn't write
death
those
as
hit
well.
songs. Why should they benefit? It's
But
his
they're his
genius.
offspring.
This is what I think. I think that Sting is doing the smart thing by making his kids feel like there'll be no money for them, because now the kids have got to get out there and earn and be decent human beings and figure out what they want to do in life. And the kids are out there doing that, and then when daddy dies, guess what? The joke's on them. There's going to be millions of dollars for the kids, but in the meantime, they would have still learned how to earn their bones like me and you do. I think that he's doing the right thing.
But money doesn't make you stupid, though. Just because they have money doesn't mean that they're going to be
But
stupid.
money makes you lazy sometimes.
Money makes you lazy.
Sometimes,
Give
not
it
all
to
the
the
time.
rainforest, Sting.
Look at all the Kennedy kids with money. Look how well they did.
Okay, let's move along to the Real Housewife, Brandi Glanville. Everybody, she's causing controversy. She's got this podcast, and she's the queen of saying too much. Brandi is, but Brandi was talking about how her son constantly defies her, and she said, "My son's name is Jake, and he's 7, and he's a complete a-hole, but we love him." Now, she used the whole word. She didn't say a-hole. She used the whole word. Siggy, you're a mom of 4. What do you say?
I say that sometimes your kids can be a-holes.
Thank you.
Sometimes they go out of line. But wait a second. She's a media hole. Everything that she does is to stay relevant, to make headlines.
Yes.
When you're on a reality show, the only way that you're going to get renewed for a second, third, is if you make the covers. So she attacks her ex-husband, his wife, and now the children. You got to cross the... You got to stop when it comes to the kids.
When you guys told me about this, first of all, I said, "Who is Brandi Granville?" I didn't know. I was looking up Granville, and this guy had no idea. Sorry, Wendy, I had no idea who she was.
my gosh,
But I
Don.
do have to say, I think she's right, and I'm glad that she won't apologize, because sometimes kids can be a-holes.
You guys are, I won't say, but you know what I'm talking about. No,
A-holes?
Here's the thing. the real a-hole is Brandi. And Brandi, I'm going to tell you, look in the mirror, honey, if you want to find the biggest a-hole in America. She's staring right at you.
But she's
Now, this is what I say.
She's talking about a kid. She wasn't talking to the kid. She was telling an adult audience that her kid's
But you
You know
can
what?
say it to your best friend.
Here's my thing. You're right. Kids can be a-holes and more.
And more.
But that's kitchen table talk. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you all how many times, our son or your kids or what. It's just, that's kitchen table talk. It's not something that you're supposed to say on your podcast. But again, she's looking for attention to be re-signed, and that's what it takes to be re-signed on these shows.
She better take some of that money that she makes and put it aside for therapy for this little boy when he grows up.
I would agree.
That little boy's probably healthier than all of us. At least he knows.
Listen.
He's probably being an a-hole.
We are just getting started. We're going to go into a break. But up next, Toronto Mayor Rob Ford. Well, he's put the crack pipe down, and now he wants his job back. What do you think? Hot Talk continues next. I know. Okay, so welcome back. The Hot Talk panel is still here. Okay, so everybody knows Toronto Mayor Rob Ford had a problem with crack. Well, he's finished up a 2-month stint in rehab. No, we saw it on cameras and stuff. It's funny seeing the mayor smoke crack, but then again, it wasn't our first time, was it, Mayor Barry? So recently, okay, so he's out of rehab after doing 2 months. He says he's clean and sober, and now he wrote a formal letter informing the city clerk that he wants to return to his job as mayor on Monday morning. Monday morning. Don, should he be allowed to resume his name?
I have a one-word answer, but I think it punctuates it with a two-word answer. The first answer is no. The second answer is no. Hell no. Because have you ever met a crackhead? They can't manage their own bank account, let alone a whole city government. Why the hell?
I smoked crack.
So, but come on. And when you did, could you manage your finances? Would you think you were in charge
I was
of managing?
functioning.
You think you could be able to manage a whole city?
No. Excuse me. I'll get to that in a moment. I have some stats.
Yeah.
But what I was able to do, I was able to manage my radio life. I mean, I was able to manage life.
But you couldn't do that forever, Wendy.
No, I couldn't do this talk show as a crackhead.
There you go.
Go ahead.
That's the answer. Go.
I too want to say I'm a recovering alcoholic with 19 years of sobriety, and I know what it's like. Thank you.
Good for you.
Thank you. To get sober, and in those first early months of sobriety, you're basket weaving and listening to elevator music and kind of like, you know, you're not running a city government.
Right.
I mean, that's insane.
But don't you think that if you had something to occupy your mind, say, I didn't basket weave and everything. I mean, I quit on my own and I stayed busy doing other things. And
well, I want you to be mayor of Toronto.
Right. You know, Siggy, what do you think?
I'm a recovering big mouth, and I'm still a big mouth, so I'm not recovering. I believe in second chances because addiction, Jane, you know this more than anything, addiction is a disease. We talk about this all the time. When you have an addiction, you can't control what you're doing, and he acted like an a-hole.
Should he still be the mayor?
Well, let the people of Toronto make that decision.
I don't think he should be the mayor at this point. I think he should get some time behind him, and yes, maybe he can run for mayor again. But while he's in recovery, I don't think he should be managing an entire city.
Well, guarantee that you're going to stay sober. You know, as one drunk famously said, quitting is easy. I do it all the time.
Right. Yeah. Well, okay, here's the thing. I think that they need to give him regular and often urine tests, just out of no place. But yes, I don't believe that by him sitting at home trying to recover is going to be good at him, because all you do is rock back and forth and think about crack or booze or something.
No one's saying he should sit at home.
Let me tell you
something. He should not be managing the city of Toronto.
He probably will go to a lot of fast food restaurants. He's not going to be sitting at home.
He doesn't need one more thing to eat.
Oh my gosh, look at that picture.
Exactly. Okay, let me give you the stats on the city of Toronto, because I knew that you'd be saying that he can't run a city. Since Rob Ford took office, Toronto has had the lowest homicide rate since 1986. And employment
Police department.
The employment is up 5.4%.
Economy.
So he was a functioning mess.
Second chances.
Second chances.
But here's the thing. I believe in second chances, but I think also the city council and other people are also in charge of the city. I don't think that Rob Ford, I think it would be better for him personally to get away from the spotlight and get away from all that and take care of himself and then run again.
You know, he's up for re-election in the fall, and I think if they re-elect him, everybody in Toronto needs to go to rehab.
Right.
No.
They re-elected Mayor Barry.
Right.
Well, okay.
Just saying. Hey, DC. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. For more information on our panelists, go to wendyshow.com. Ask Wendy is next.